What's up, creative community? How you guys doing? Once again, this is Lorenzo from the Coach MC Studio. This is the place so will help you actors, performers, entertainers to shape unique behavior deliveries, to come across as even more remarkable performers, and to step up your artistic luggage, to really improve your skill set and to have an impactful, authentic, genuine, and wonderful, remarkable performance every time we get called to action. And in today's video, we're gonna continue our beautiful series called The Acting Alphabet. We're gonna analyze the letter C. C stands for comedy. And why is that? Because we moved to Miami just a couple of months ago and we discovered a brand new planet full of wonderful performers and very super funny, talented comedians, stand-ups. We immersed ourselves in this world, also introduced by the fabulous Manny Garavito, who kind of, brought us to all the venues and showed us all the panels out there. And there are some beautiful performers and all these experiences, all the beautiful insights that we gathered throughout these nights that we are networking and out in all these bars. We wanted to kind of condense and give you the instruments that you need. So whether you're a comedian trying to step up your game and come across as an even more remarkable comedian, whether you're an actor searching for a new product to spice up your toolbox, or you're a performer who needs comedy for his next piece, for his next monologue, or just to add something new to his showreel and his portfolio, this is the video for you. And if you're here for the first time, kindly consider subscribing. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video and let's see what's cooking. C like comedy, MC like master of comedy. Without that C factor, without comedy in our lives, we're lost. We're doomed. Why? Because comedy gives us a new perspective on life. It makes us see things through a different lens. It makes us laugh. It makes us deal with reality. It flips the status quo. It's a different notion. It's something compelling and intriguing and highly entertaining. And therefore, if we love to stay in the entertainment industry, we need comedy to make it happen. But before we start with the nitty-gritty of this video, I need to make a distinction because I feel there's a misunderstanding sometimes going on. There is a difference between the sense of humor and comedy. You see, comedy is fabricated. We produce comedy with a mixture of different ingredients. The sense of humor is something innate, whether we are born with a sense of humor or not, whether we have it or not. But there is a way of refurbishing and refine it over time, and I will tell you how by the end of this video as a little bonus tip. So make sure to stick till the end of this video. But comedy is something that we produce, that we make, that we somehow artificially create. How? Basically with two different ingredients. Comedy happens in our heart and comedy happens in our brain. Comedy happens in our ratio. When we preconceive things, when we map out things, when we have a certain rhythm inserted into things, when we kind of strategize how to ideally place an anecdote, remark, something that's ironic, something that's sarcastic, something that's cynical, to spice up a line, to kind of having a different notion delivered. This is all mapped out. This is all part of the tactic game. It's done over here with our brain. This is our logic speaking. And then at the same time, comedy is also happening in our heart, in our body. It's our physical behavior. It's a strange posture that we can assume. It's something like a spasm, something that is crazy and unpredictable and eruptive and disruptive, something that goes in a completely different direction. It is a mixture between planning and then kind of, upsetting that plan in the first place. It's a mixture between preconceiving and then executing something different or executing that precisely. It's always about upsetting the status quo. It's always about surprising the audience. It's always about inserting something that is subverting the expectation in a positive way, right? It's a mixture between gut feeling, instinct, and inspiration, and heart, and logic, tactic, and strategy. This is where comedy happens. And in order to emphasize both pillars on where this comedy is created, how we manufacture it, we need to double down on those two vectors, right? We need to listen to our instincts, to work on trusting ourselves, to relentlessly practice our moves, our physicality, our tweaks, our spasms, our funny physical behavior, and also to kind of, get into the right tone with our brain, to kind of feel what different rhythms mediums are doing to our delivery, to change the pace, to change the momentum, to go into also different directions with our delivery, with our speed, with our velocity, with the emphasis that we place on certain vowels, consonants, on certain words itself. Comedy happens on so many levels, and we can fabricate it through so many different instruments. We bring as many disciplines to the table as we can, and we listen to our brain, and we listen to our heart and to our instincts. This is how yin and yang kind of come together in order to construct that comedic product. You know, both colliding forces melting to a new product, to a new form, to a new organism. This is what comedy can give you to your character. And even when you're auditioning, if it's a serious, dramatic role, look out where you can find comedy in between spaces, in between, you know, the cracks of the character, where comedy can kind of shine through out of the text and deliver something truthful and realistic and authentic. Because in real life, guess what? We're using comedy all the times. We're using irony, we're using sarcasm, we are cynical sometimes because it helps us to deal with life, because it's a way of hurting people, because it's also a way of delivering a message in a different way. Instead of always being earnest and serious, right? We use comedy sometimes to make the message clearer. Or sometimes we're emphasizing a concept through comedy so it's not as offensive to somebody who needs to understand something important about his mistakes, about his mishappenings, or about something that is going wrong in his life. The same thing is applicable to ourselves as well. If we look into the mirror and we say, all right, I fucked up, what's next, right? And kind of turn that and flip that and immediately channel that into a comedic element that kind of helps you to alleviate the pain, to kind of, you know, navigate the danger without being too serious, because too much seriousness also makes you focus on the problems only, and by doing so, you make the problems only more prominent. So in order to kind of not taking this stuff too seriously and not only dealing with the problems, by focusing more on the solution, you need comedy to do that, to kind of lift up your side again, to kind of look into a different direction and get a new perspective on things, like I said. So in so many ways, comedy can be a useful partner for your career. Comedy is based on velocity. It's like real life, just a bit faster. And then automatically it kind of gets funny. Comedy happens through rhythm. It's the way how you pronounce things that sometimes makes it funny and makes it kind of compelling to listen to, and kind of creates different pictures in the brain of our audiences. If you are always using the same rhythm, it's not funny. If you try different oscillations and go in different directions and you play with the contrast and you kind of change the rhythm and the pace, all of a sudden things start to get a bit more entertaining and sometimes even funny. And then comedy is all about surprise. Surprise yourself, then you surprise others. This is what I love to say. Because when you surprise yourself, you are generally more involved in the moment. You're way more focused in what you're doing in the moment. And this will make the act more interesting also for the audience. Because if you are surprised, the audience will be surprised, and both will be heavily focused on what you're doing next. You could say it's about shocking, it's about surprising, and it's about subverting expectations in a positive way. Comedy is that spice, is that ingredient, is that view on life that is unexpected and is courageous. Because comedy needs a huge chunk of courage to be delivered. Because comedy in a way is also showing your vulnerability, showing how fragile you are, showing how wounded you are. Always comes from a place of tragedy. It's always the pain speaking through comedy. Tragedy is the mirror of comedy. It's the dark universe that stands in between you and reality. How can we add that sense of humor to our characters? Because the sense of humor is how we deal with the world, with the tragedy. How we remain sane, nonetheless everything around us is crumbling down and is chaos and mayhem and anarchy. It makes us kind of deal with all that. That is the sense of humor. It's not fabricated, but we can improve it. And how can we do that? Let's get to the bonus tip. We can improve our sense of humor by asking a very simple question based on 2 words only, and a question mark, of course. What if? What if I behave in a completely different way? What if I cry instead of laughing? What if I laugh instead of crying? What if I'm jumping instead of sitting? What if I'm standing instead of just walking around? What if I'm doing this differently? What if I'm flipping the status quo? What if slow becomes fast? What if nice becomes ugly? What if funny becomes tragic? All these things. Just by usually kind of going into a completely different direction and having an antagonistic standpoint to a certain behavior, usually things become more entertaining and sometimes even funny. And we can go on and practice this relentlessly. And you will see over time, things are becoming more and more spontaneous, more and more humorous, and you will insert a certain notion, a certain grin to your characters that wasn't there before. You insert something on top, something that wasn't scripted, something that is new. You're bringing a new card to the table. And this usually makes people wonder, hey, what's going on here? Now, maybe you shocked them, maybe you surprised them, just kicking off a chain of thought that will bring you into a different direction. This is where I want to encourage you to double down on, because life is short, and to deliver something like everybody else is delivering is just boring. We're not here for that. We're here to surprise. We are here to entertain. That's why it's called entertainment industry. We need to show different qualities. That's why it's called show business. If we always stay in our comfortable zone and we deliver the same quiet, safe product, we will never make it. We will never have that long-lasting career. What if is a great way of kind of refining that sense of humor inside of yourself, even if you're not born with it. It's just the way we decipher reality. It's just the way how we're sometimes changing the narrative for ourselves to deal with the madness. That is sense of humor. Try to practice that relentlessly and you will see, you will get better at this pretty quickly. And probably you can add something new to your game, to your showcase, to your monologue, to your self-tape by just having that question going on and on and on forever. If you are always searching for something, you're always on the hunt, you're always kind of, equipped with that adventurous spirit. That is so beautiful about your character because it makes the character vivid, believable, and authentic. We all, in a certain way, are ironic people, cynical people, sarcastic people. That's just the way how we are, especially the ones who are living in those big cities. The metropolis itself turns out to be a catalyst for irony, for sarcasm, for cynical behavior, and all that. Comedy is happening everywhere, and you can refurbish your sense of humor everywhere and anywhere at every time. Not only will your character become a more compelling and beautiful and entertaining role, but also you as a human being will become way more relaxed and a bit less earnest and stern about, what will happen to you next. Because yes, there's also a lot of rejection going on in the entertainment industry, and we need to deal with that with a humorous way, with a humorous approach. Otherwise we're lost. We're doomed, like I said in the beginning. It's just the way how we approach all those things that will kind of turn out to be our trademark, that will turn out to be our next weapon in order to kind of get that role, to book that audition, and to really come across as even better and more remarkable performers. Whether it's on stage, on camera, for advertising, as a stand-up comedian, it's just the way we deal with everything that happens to us on a daily basis. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section below what you'd like to see with the next Acting Alphabet episode. It's the letter D, so I'm really curious about your comments, your remarks, your ideas and tips, what we should handle. I'm more than happy to cover that. Also jump to my website, it's thecoachmc.studio, for a free trial lesson. Let's find out if we are a great match for each other. If you want to improve your portfolio, if you want to spice up your monologue, if there's a big self-tape project coming up, if there's something really important going on where you like to kind of work with a coach on getting better, on improving your performance and become an even better, even more remarkable and impactful performer, let's work on that. Let's find out if we're a great match for each other. Let's start the adventure. Also check out my other adventures on Instagram, on Twitter and TikTok. See you with the next video, and now you're ready to perform.